Welcome to WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. And now, here's your host, Randy Harris.
Welcome to WFPC Podcasting. This is a weekly look at news, information, and the people in and around Pike County. Matt Wells is a local product, a Pike Central graduate. Growing up here, he volunteered with local fire departments, became the EMS director. That's what Chris Young has now. And now he is the Deputy Chief State Fire Marshal. Matt, it's been quite a journey. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, State Fire Marshal, it's now a division of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when I was covering news, I just call up at the Indiana Fire Marshals to ask if they had a report.
Yeah.
It's a little different than that today, isn't it?
Yeah, so post 9/11, once 9/11 happened, the catchphrase or catch-all kind of became Homeland Security, right? So shortly after that, it was in 2005, they merged multiple agencies into one agency and called it the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. And so part of that is the State Fire Marshal's office, emergency management, EMS, like fire training for fire departments, stuff like that. It's all under one house now. So
building safety, elevators,
amusements.
Wow,
everything's underneath there.
Boiler pressure vessels.
Boiler pressure, yeah.
I was reading.
They're everywhere.
Yeah,
you wouldn't believe where they're at.
So let's back up. Let's start out with Matt Wells. Walk us through your journey, the providence that brought you to this position.
Yeah, it's a long road. I grew up in Winslow. My parents, my dad was actually a transplant from Indianapolis. Met my mom while he was home from the Marine Corps at a Winslow High School basketball game.
Cool.
And as they say, the rest is history. And so
this would have been 60.
Late 70s probably. Yeah.
Okay.
And so my brother and I come along, and for whatever reason, I guess every kid has a dream to be a firefighter at one point in time in their life. My mom wanted me to go into computers, and I wanted to ride the big red truck for a living. So I did that. So I went to Vincennes University after I graduated high school. I went to the fire science program. And
Did you volunteer at Winslow when you were a kid?
So I had a friend whose dad was on a fire department, and I kind of started hanging around the fire department. And then maybe middle school, early high school, I started hanging out at the Patoka Township Fire Department. It was then out at Arthur, South Patoka. And so that's kind of what even fueled the fire even more, probably. And then I blame Brad Maxwell. We all remember Brad. So I was riding with Brad one time, and we went to the fire station, and I looked at all the trucks there at Otwell, and it got me hooked even more. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to become involved in this, and I got hooked. And so
teach you wax on, wax off.
No, he should have. I always told everybody when I worked at the fire department, I said, guys, we're not really firefighters. We're janitors. We clean the station, we clean the trucks, we just make the runs because we're here. And so the younger guys would always, kind of newer guys anyway, would kind of get a kick out of that. They get all cocky, and I'm like, we're just janitors that are making fire calls from the firehouse. So I got hired as a career firefighter in Vanderbilt County, and so I worked there for about 6 years. Really busy.
And give us a time frame. When did you graduate high school?
So I graduated in 2000. So I started at the fire department in 2002.
So you're a little younger than your brother.
I am, yeah. So Mark was on the 97 basketball team. He graduated in 97. I graduated in 2000. He's probably the more common sense guy. Took the normal career path, and he's a high school principal in Kentucky. But I wanted more adventure, I guess. So
well, you've got it.
I got it, yeah. And so I worked at the fire department. I worked at a busy station. We made about 1,200 calls a year. The station I worked at, worked with a lot of good guys and girls.
1,200
calls a year. Yeah,
that's 4 a day.
Yeah, the most I ever had in a shift was probably 13 runs in like a 12-hour period. Anytime it stormed, we were just bouncing from call to call. You'd have a notepad in the truck. You would just write the next address down. You would drive to the next call. So we're busy. I had the unfortunate opportunity. I worked the tornado at Evansville, November 6, 2005. So I was assigned to one area of the trailer park that got hit where 20 people died. That was an eye-opening experience. It was so isolated, though. It was weird. I always tell people it was so weird. I was on a ladder truck, and I remember leaving there after I worked my tour there, and we come up Green River Road, and there's people shopping, people eating at restaurants, and we were just putting bodies, in a body bags all day, and it was weird. We had it was kind of weird. So we had some parks set up in sections, and so we would, unfortunately, we'd find bodies and we'd put them at the end of the street, and a National Guard truck would come around and we would put them in the truck, and then we had a makeshift morgue in the middle, and so I saw a lot of stuff there.
Now, define the location of that.
Yeah, so it was on the south side of Edinburgh County, kind of off of
toward the river.
Yeah, right along the river. So the tornado came up from Ellis Park. It tore up Ellis Park and kind of made a bend and came up along the river.
Is that the one that went to Newburgh?
Yes, the same one went to Newburgh and Warwick County. Yeah, and so it hit the trailer park. There was a trailer park kind of parallel with what's now I-69 between Green River Road and around Covert Avenue and all that. So spent a lot of time there that day. That's probably what the most notable run I made was working at the fire department. But saw a lot of stuff. And then I remember I kind of got bored with it. And so I always liked the science behind fire and what causes fire and stuff. And so I always studied that. But then I saw an ad for EMS director here in Pike County. And I thought, man, it'd be great to work where I grew up, people I know. Maybe I can make the service better than it was.
Now give me a year. Is this 2010?
This is probably 2006, 2007. Yeah.
Okay.
And so shortly after a couple years after the tornado occurred. And so I came back and I worked for 4 years and hope we made it better than I found it. And then Chris Young came after I did. Chris is doing an outstanding job with it, and the service is growing leaps and bounds, and they do great things. And so I kind of got, again, I got bored with learning about Medicare and any type of insurance billing question you could ever want. And so I always had an eye for fire science and what makes fire work and grow and progress. And so I kind of got recruited to come to the State Fire Marshal's office. And so in 2011, I went to the State Fire Marshal's office. So been there ever since.
Wow. That's quite a breath.
Yes.
So what do you learn to make life better for Hoosiers in that State Fire Marshal's office?
Well, the whole mission is derived by we want to prevent fires from happening again. Whether that be an appliance malfunction. That's how recalls are often developed. If it's causing fires, it's developed by fire investigators who have so many of those occurring, and we're able to research and figure out that maybe an appliance is malfunctioning, and so things are changed to help with prevent that product from catching fire again. A lot of your fire codes are derived from post fires, from large fires that have occurred that have caused deaths. They'll change fire codes for buildings. I'm a big believer in smoke alarms. It's sad when somebody dies and you think that a $15 item may have made a difference, and alerting them early enough to get out of a fire. But
why don't we have them? Lazy?
I think we get complacent.
Don't need them.
Right. Don't need them. I've never had a fire. They're just annoying. The battery chirps when it gets dead, and so I take it down and get busy with life and
never put
it back up.
Don't have the battery.
Don't have the battery, or maybe that's the timer we go off of for our cooking. We know when the food's done when the smoke alarm goes off, so we take the alarm down. I think that we hope anyway to prevent fires from happening again, and even on the criminal aspect too. If somebody's going around setting fires, we want to stop that and prevent that from occurring too.
So do you have that going on still today?
Yeah, we have serial arsonists going around. We have more so. I'd say the biggest majority is fraud, vandalism stuff we're dealing with, random acts, but most of the time it's usually a fraud, insurance fraud case, or the serial arsonist is not something we encounter frequently, but I've worked several in my career.
I want to stay on that, and I want to stay with technology and how that's getting ready to change, but we have to pay bills.
Yes.
There's all this costs money.
Sure.
Do you know Dr. Clint Schultz?
I do. He is my eye doctor. Helps me see better.
He is fabulous.
Yes.
I know I went into him one time and mowing, peeled back that top layer of my eye, and I thought this is going to be bad, and he took care of it.
It's great with a small town doctor. You can call him after hours like the old time shows, and he'll take care of it and get you in. He knows everybody and so
I did not
very
have his number, but I had his mom's.
Yeah, exactly. Small town stuff. Can't beat it.
WFPC podcasting is brought to you in part by Schultz Eye Care at 715 South 9th Street, Petersburg. Schultz Eye Care offers comprehensive dilated eye exams, contact exams, a huge selections of frames, glasses, sunglasses ranging from Nike, Under Armour, Coach, Oakley, Ray-Bans. Get a second pair of glasses 50% off and a year's supply of contacts at 25% off. Dr. Clint Schultz and his friendly, capable staff have over 40 years in the eye care business, and they're local. It supports your community, and Schultz Eye Care does that. Open Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 to 5. Tuesdays, they close at noon. 354-9400. Recently, the real estate market has been unpredictable, but the sun is starting to shine, the weather is breaking, and at Harris Real Estate, we have clients looking for homes and properties. Let us help you sell your home or property and or find your next one. You always hear, and it's so true, that real estate is local. We are local. We know the business. We know the community. Harris Real Estate has listed and sold hundreds of properties right here. Harris Real Estate, 812-380-1065. Matt, we're back. So
yes.
Matt is the State Fire Marshal office. You're the deputy director, right?
I'm assistant chief.
Assistant chief. And we are starting to get into the segment where we talk about arsons. We talk about investigative stuff.
Yes.
Technology. We mentioned at the beginning of the show, since you started out at the Winslow Fire Department, and I was covering news, calling Lee McCandless, and he'd say, we can't figure it out, call the fire marshal. I'd call the fire marshal. But it's all different today.
Yeah, lots changed.
I'm kind of getting off subject a little bit, but you watch this Nancy Guthrie stuff that's going on the television, and I mean, forensics, cell phone, DNA. How is all this changing to help you do an even better job today? Yeah,
so as you can imagine, a burnt down structure or house would be hard to just put the facts together without technology. Technology is both scary and helpful to law enforcement. Scary in the aspect that it tracks a lot of stuff we do, even myself, as a regular citizen. But as a law enforcement officer, we are using that technology to help us build the pieces of the puzzle together. Smart watches, anything you're wearing. We've had cases where we've used pacemakers before. A suspect's pacemaker had GPS on it. We were able to track it down. We got a search warrant for the pacemaker. We're able to track that person down based on the location data from their pacemaker. But technology stuff, location data is important. Even more than that, what are people, we can tell a lot about somebody's life from their phone. Everything you search, the websites you're hitting, that kind of gives us a glimpse into the mind of that person, what their interests are, who their associates are.
When I was a kid, I read 1984, and I thought, wow, that's years ahead of us. It was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
We are in an Orwellian society. Or getting close to it.
It's overwhelming. I think that at some point in time, I don't really know when, but I predict in the near future that I think maybe these companies are going to start kind of scaling back on not really the information they're collecting, but what they're keeping. because the folks like from Verizon, AT&T that help us on the law enforcement side, they talk about as you can imagine, the enormous amount of requests they get for information from law enforcement, right? So I think you're going to start, and you're already seeing it with Google. So you have any type of Google application on your phone, it's collecting data from your location information, even from a Gmail account. And so we use a lot of that data. But Google's now even saying, hey, there's a lot of this data we're going to stop keeping because we don't want to be the keeper of the records, So they're going to start just keeping it on the device. But I always tell people, the smarter the phone, the more information we can get off of it. So the old flip phones and dumber phones, we don't get a lot off of those. So that's why you see a lot of criminals that use those, because it's less stuff we can get off of it. But even AI, some of our counterparts are using artificial intelligence to write reports and sometimes even review photos.
Explain that. How do they write a report?
Yes, there's different models. So some of them, one that we actually demoed and some of our guys are still using, will actually just take a voice recording. So you can leave a scene and just record a simple, maybe 2 to 3 minute voice recording, and then it types out sometimes a 5 to 6 page report based on that short clip you gave it.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. Now, sometimes you have to go in and edit it and make it a little more accurate. But I think AI is only going to get bigger, and we're going to start seeing it more and more in our daily lives. And a lot of people are scared of it. They make the comment, oh, it's so scary, it's so new. But if you think about when you had an Atari, if you remember that game Atari, when you're playing against the computer or the Atari, that's kind of artificial intelligence at its, infancy stage, right? Because there was a computer playing back with you. So it's getting smarter and smarter and helping us. I think it's going to increasingly help law enforcement and other careers. But you mentioned forensic science. Fire investigation is now considered a forensic science. So a lot of what we're doing is so science-backed now. So for me to get on the stand and raise my hand and say that this is how a fire started, this is what caused the fire, I have to have scientific data to back that up. Used to even up to the mid '90s, a fire investigator just get on the stand and say, Johnny set the fire because I've been doing this for 30 years and that's what happened, right? And so now, our juries and stuff are expecting science. We call it the CSI effect. They watch these CSI shows, Chicago Fire, and they want to see that stuff.
I think those are the most popular podcasts out there.
Yeah, a lot of crime shows, all forensic science. People are interested in that. And so the jurors are wanting to see that too, right? They're expecting us to have cell phone information. They're expecting us to have computer data. They're expecting us to have any type of science we can. We're starting to do more with technology. We use x-rays a lot. We can x-ray appliances to see if they're malfunctioning. We have 3D scanners now, so we 3D scan a scene. And so you can actually walk virtually, just like real estate tours. It's a similar program we use. And so we can walk a jury, through a house or whatever, just as we saw it. And, that's incredible to be able to virtually walk through a scene now.
So don't be afraid of it.
Don't be afraid of it.
Embrace it.
Embrace it. Become familiar with it.
To your advantage is what you're trying to tell me.
A guy once told me that you should work smarter, not harder. And I think there's advantages to AI that we're going to see.
This old 1965 brain, this 65 model doesn't. Wow.
Well, this is an 82 model, and I struggle with some of it too. But I try to keep up with it.
I don't scroll on social media, but I do post. I'll post a clip from this, and I'll post my houses.
Yeah.
And so I use it to get the word out to people. But when you just open it up, you'll see this actor 40 years ago, and you'll see him today, and you think, I don't think that's really him.
Yeah.
But so I don't know but you show something to my teenage girls, and they can say, Dad, that's AI.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
I think a lot of conversations that I'm in now revolve around that. Do you think that was real or was it AI? And there's little nuances you get used to seeing now if it's AI. Faces don't look 100%, the same as that, or you'll see some little errors here and there. But it can be scary. It's a different world we're living in. Do you remember Mr. Clark, who taught music at Winslow?
Oh, you bet.
I remember sitting in his class, and we'd always get off topic, and he always said that by the time I graduated high school, and I was in elementary school at this time, we wouldn't have textbooks. We'd be driving flying cars. I'm still waiting on the flying car, but not a lot of textbooks anymore.
Jetsons.
Yeah, Jetsons stuff.
I thought that's going to be cool.
I also remember sitting in class, and you had Mr. Morrison on here, and I remember him telling us about this great interstate that was coming to Pike County. And, we all thought, he's just going to change the face of the county, and the interstate's here, I use it a lot.
Yeah, it's changing.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight.
No.
But it's changing.
I think of different things. I drive a lot, so you do a lot of thinking when you're driving. I had a thought one time of, Pike County's a kind of probably not unique to the whole state, but we're in that between thing where we want growth, but at the same time we're happy the way things are.
I had that conversation at least twice last week.
Yeah.
We like it. We want to be able to offer our kids a reason to come home.
Yeah.
If that's what they so choose.
Yeah.
And we hope they choose that, but at the same time, we kind of like it the way it is.
Yeah, it's
and that's why we're here.
You're right. I came back. I lived a few years away and came back. When I first started with the state, I got assigned to the Bloomington district, and so I couldn't wait to get back home. We have people. It's funny. We have people that work around Indianapolis in the city, and if they come to help me, they're nervous in the middle of a cornfield. But if they take me and put me on 10th Street with them, I'm nervous, But they're more nervous in a cornfield with me in the middle of nowhere.
I understand that. And we're going to break again for a second. Being in that cornfield, we've got an opportunity for the people you work with out of Indianapolis. If they have to come here, we've got a great place for them to stay. It's the Log Ends Bed and Breakfast.
It's been around a while.
It has been. We'll be back shortly. WFPC podcasting is brought to you in part by the Log Ends Farm Bed and Breakfast. If you need a place to stay in Pike County or the surrounding area of southern Indiana, there is no place quite like the Log Ends Farm Bed and Breakfast. Just a couple miles west of Petersburg, 2769 Indiana State Road 56. It is quaint to say the least. It's peaceful. You're surrounded by nature and God's creations in a very traditional rural farm environment, which is what Steve and Donna set up years ago. It's now passed down to the next generation of Courtney and AJ, but still under the watchful eyes of Donna. It is a traditional farm nestled in the countryside of southern Indiana that grows grain, hay, livestock. It incorporates 2 vintage log cabins. It's a small personal touch operation. They make you feel like family. Visit their website, log-ends.com, and call today to book your charming retreat, 812-354-2192. Winter is wrapping up, we hope. The salt and grime on the roads to provide safe driving this winter is eating away at your car or truck. You don't see the damage underneath, but on the paint, it's corroding your vehicle. When you wash your vehicle on a regular basis, there are so many advantages. You're easier to see, you preserve the life of your car, you help maintain its value, enhances vision, and it just looks better. And washing with a wand, you can get into those creases, you can get up under the wheels. Stop by Petersburg Car Wash, 401 South 9th Street, also State Road 61, Petersburg. Keep it clean. We are back.
All right.
So you're pretty comfortable in cornfields.
Yes.
And that's why we're here. How does that small Pike County experience help you when you're working with all these people from Indianapolis?
It helps me a lot. I get told a lot that I can talk to anybody.
Uh-huh.
when I interview folks or interact with people in my job, investigating something, I talk to them just like I would somebody I've known for a while. I was around my grandpa, who could always just walk into the gas station and talk to anybody standing there. And so it, made me know that that's how you meet people. You talk to people, just treat them as you want to be treated. I think most folks in Pike County would agree with that and treat people that way. You treat people as if that's the way you want to be treated. And I haven't had any problems with it yet. It's that small town value stuff that's helped me through it.
Coming out of church on Sunday, the girls are sitting in the car waiting on me.
Yeah.
Got to check on people.
It's almost like you're a politician.
But maybe, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that, and I always tell people when I teach classes or I'm introducing myself to different agencies, I always laugh and joke that you can tell the people who are from the Indianapolis area versus people like me that grew up in a rural area. Because we're the ones you can sit and have a conversation with and laugh with. And they're the ones that they're a little sterile and a little hard to break down and have a conversation with.
Yeah. When we went to New York City for about 3 days before Christmas, the girls can never get me to take a vacation in the summer because I'm working.
Yeah.
That's go time. But so we took a couple days off when it was really slow, and you just see all those faces and you think,
yeah,
wow, I'm ready to go back home.
Yeah.
But they don't have any concept this would scare them.
I enjoy the work in larger cities, but I always look forward to come back in the peacefulness of the small towns and the rural areas like Pike County. So
yeah, and I'm like that. I could go anywhere for a period of time if I know I'm coming back home.
Yeah, I used to travel and do some stuff for the ATF, and I remember one time I was flying back from somewhere, and my dad picked me up from the airport. It's been years ago, and he said something to me about, how'd you like it or something, and I said, Dad, first of all, I'm going to say something weird. I want to thank you for whipping me as a kid and for growing up in a small, peaceful community like Pike County. It's just it's a different world. I get a lot of, I would say, grief, but people, when I go to the city, for meeting stuff, give me a hard time about being from a small county or, where we're outnumbered by cows or deer, but they don't understand, unless you're from a place like Pike County, you don't understand how it can feel like home and how peaceful and, it's hard to describe to people, why you like it. I mean, I've heard your story about moving in, and my dad was a transplant. His family moved from Indianapolis to Oakland City. They came down here to help build the power plant. His father did. His uncles were already helping build the power plant, and then so that's how they ended up migrating here, if you will, and they stayed. So my mom being from Winslow, so they just set up camp in Pike County. So.
Yeah, people here just take you in, and they become family, and it becomes home.
Everybody in Indy says, well, you're in the middle of nowhere. I said, I may be in the middle of nowhere, but I'm 30 minets from anywhere.
That's right. I always tell people we are the Pike County is the hub of the universe.
It is. We can get anywhere in 30 minutes.
Yeah, and on a bigger picture, we're halfway between St. Louis, Cincinnati, Chicago, Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah, and growing up here, we get used to driving places to the store. You had to drive to a different town to go to a big store or something you needed. And I had a guy doing field training with me, and I remember we were in Sullivan County, and we were knocking on doors trying to get information about a case we were working. And he's kind of looking around. He goes, Matt, there's not even power lines out here. I said, I know, isn't it great? And he said, no, I'm a little nervous, And I said, let's talk to this next one. We go to the door, and he says, ma'am, can I just ask you, how long does it take you to get to your nearest Walmart? And she said, about 25 minutes. And he goes, ma'am, how do you live like this? I'm like, why would you not live like this?
Funny. And now you've got Amazon.
Yeah.
Now you've got other options.
Yeah.
Don't know if you need all that.
I know. It's instant gratification. I don't know if you want to call it that. I mean, you can get on your phone and have anything at your door within a couple of days. We want it just faster and faster. When I was a kid, you actually had to believe your parents. If you asked your mom a question and she told you, that was the answer. Now the kids are like, look it up, and you're wrong.
Fact check you
in the middle, in a split second. So or you just have to go to the library and get, find out an answer. But
let's come back on this topic.
Yeah.
Matt, we've still got a couple bills to pay.
Okay.
WFPC podcasting is brought to you in part by the Dustin Schnare Agency for Indiana Farm Bureau. They are located right here, just south of Illinois Street at 4407 North State Road 61, Petersburg, in that beautiful new freestanding building. Dustin and his capable staff, including Tyler Dillon, help guide you through the process on insurance. Whether it's home, auto, farm, commercial, or life insurance, the folks at Dustin Schnare Agency in Petersburg are here to help with the confidence that stands behind Indiana Farm Bureau. It's so much more personable when you can deal with someone face to face rather than a phone, text, or email only. Matt, sometimes you have to use your hands to explain things. Dustin has been in business here since February of 2009, and to top that, I've known Dustin since he was in high school. He and his wife Kelly have two beautiful daughters, Riley and Stella, who work as part of the staff at the Dustin Schnare Agency. Call them today, 812-766-1117. Matt, we're back, and picking up where we left off. I grew up in Evansville.
Yeah.
And it's 45 minutes. But it's so different because we have to go to Evansville for bigger things.
Yeah.
But they don't have to come to us. And growing up in Evansville, I had no idea what there was at my fingertips. And I remember going home one time, I saw, had to run into a store or something and saw a friend from high school, and she said, "Oh, are you home visiting your mom and dad?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, you stay in the weekend?" And it's like she thought I was on the other side of Gary. I mean, we're right there.
Yeah.
And there's so much to explore beyond those city limits.
There is. I work a lot in Evansville with the Evansville Fire Department, the police department down there. It's a different world, and yet it's only 45 minutes away from us. Right. Work some big cases in Evansville.
So these big cases, where do you see? You're still a young man. You're not 40 yet, are you?
I'm 43. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Time flies.
1982. There you go. It's hard to believe.
I don't feel 43. I feel 15, but
I say that, and Dylan thinks that's ridiculous. You're an old man.
I think I have the mind of a 15-year-old. My body feels 43 sometimes.
Yeah, I'm at 13, and he'll say, "Well, that's stupid." But yeah, so we're boys.
That's right. Yeah,
we're still boys at heart. Where do you see this going? You've got another 20 years in this business at least.
Yeah.
How is it progressing?
We talked about technology already. I think technology is going to increasingly play a vital role in many aspects, whether it be trying to close a case or helping the investigator themselves with paperwork or keeping notes, documenting scenes. Like I said, we're using the technology like 3D scans already to document scenes. Drones, we're using drones like crazy. A lot of our guys are assigned drones just like you would a camera.
And boy, that helps on safety.
It does. I used to have to climb a ladder truck to get an aerial shot of a place, and now I'm just getting a drone out of my truck and flying it and landing it, and sometimes I don't even get out of my truck. I can stay in the warm of my truck and fly a drone. But I think, like we talked about AI, I think that's going to increasingly, hopefully, help us. With anything, technology has both unintended consequences and positive, things. Computers. Think about how computers have helped us a lot, but there's also negative things that come with computers. With anything, people are going to figure out a negative way to use it. So.
One of the things that scares me about technology is it cuts this off.
Yeah.
And to me, there's nothing more important than that eye-to-eye, face-to-face
but it's so easy.
Tangible.
It's so easy to get my phone in my pocket and send you a message that would be difficult to tell you in person.
Oh,
instead of just having a conversation.
And I look at it and I think, is he being a smart aleck? Is he being? Is he? You know, is he serious?
Yeah, I speak fluent sarcasm, as people who know me can attest to. But sometimes that's hard to convey through a text message. So, body language is huge. But I know a lot of younger folks that we've come through field training with us that they can't talk to people, to ask you simple questions. Well, what's your name? What's your date of birth? They would rather send you an email and ask you that, or send you a text.
So that's where I'm going with that question. Is what does these small communities, back when you were coming of age, that volunteer fire department was the big social club for the community.
Yeah.
And the guys would go and they'd clean that fire department, but they were one-on-one with people just discussing this job, this department, this community. Now you're sitting in mom's basement on a phone, making nasty comments on social media.
Yeah. I attest to a lot of education I got and the ability to talk to people and talk things out from being at the fire departments. Like you said, that was social media before there was social media. You actually had to go and physically talk to somebody. We've had people that couldn't even mail something because they're just so used to doing it electronically. They didn't know how to mail something. We had to teach them how to mail something at the post office.
Wow.
So it's definitely changing, folks.
I made a comparison. Facebook has replaced letters to the editor.
Yes.
Are you old enough to remember letter to the editor?
Are you kidding me? I mean, growing up in Pike County, I used to live for Wednesday to see the letters to the editor.
Funny.
If nothing else, that paper could have been nothing but ads and 5 letters to the editor, and we've been fine with it. It's sad to see print media like the local paper kind of slow off a little bit.
The world's changing.
Yeah, we can get it instantly on our phone. I don't have to wait till Wednesday anymore.
Look at radio.
Yeah, radio's also changing.
Oh my.
Yeah.
But and this, it's still expensive, but there's not the overhead of everything else involved.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
and you can still get the message out, and I think this is great because we're talking to the horse face to face.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like you said, even as I consider myself not an older person. I'm kind of in the middle there at 43. In my lifetime, just seeing technology change from when I graduated high school until now. I think in 2000 if we were sending text messages, nobody had a phone. I didn't get a phone until after I graduated high school, and it was just a Nokia. We weren't sending messages. You actually still had to call somebody and have a conversation.
It was like programming a television.
It was, just to make a phone call.
And Denise had been to Down Under, and they were experimenting with texting. I'm like, they'll never take off here.
When I worked at the fire department, we had alphanumeric pagers. We thought that was cool because they could actually send a message to us, like a text message. But I kind of miss those days of not having cell phones, right? You kind of had more. You were in the moment.
Sometimes, especially on Sundays, I just try not to, and I think it affects your attention span and everything else.
Yeah,
you're always accessible.
I embrace technology. At the same time, I think sometimes it's good to take a step back. It kind of clears your mind. I have nieces. You go to the family functions and they don't talk. They're on their phone the whole time.
Wow.
And you try to call them on the phone, they won't answer. But you text, they might text you back. It's just weird. I always, you feel kind of old. You start telling stories. It just, I remember, look forward to going to places because you talk to people.
Yeah, and like you say, you see those nieces and your Uncle Matt's not feeling well. Well, Well, send him a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I get video messages on the phone now for my birthdays and stuff. Or used to, you get a phone call from somebody. They would tell you happy birthday in real time. But they're fine. I can save them. But like I said, I think technology is going to continue to help improve our jobs. But at the same time, I think it's has the potential to be used for negative stuff as well. Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, we need to thank your friend John Craig. Because I don't know, I had to call him for something, and he said, "I'm with the guy that would be an interesting program for you." Yeah. So and he said, and he plays a mean guitar too.
I do. I've had one in my office. That's one of my stress relievers, playing the guitar. But yeah, I played a lot of music and cover bands through the years and stuff on college and even high school. So yeah.
Well, Matt, we're so glad you're successful. You've gone to a different level, but you're still right here in Pike County. So
yeah, glad to be here.
And that's something that technology and can help you do. You can still stay part of your small That's community.
True. Yeah, we have virtual meetings all the time. It saves me a trip to Indianapolis. I can still do my work down here, and helps me live local. So
okay. Well, thank you.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Okay. Thanks for joining us for this program of WFPC Podcasting. The program is brought to you by Harris Real Estate, Hathaway Excavating and Rock Yard, Petersburg Car Wash, the Dustin Schneer Indiana Farm Bureau Agency, Schultz Eye Care, and the Log Ends Farm Bed and Breakfast. Please like the podcast and share with your friends so more people can hear about WFPC podcasting. It's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Just type it in your browser. It's out there. This is episode 39, and they're all still on there. You can go back and rewatch them. So join us next Friday for another WFPC podcast exploring the people, information, and news right here in Pike County. See you next week.
Thanks for watching WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. From back roads to town centers, we bring you the voices, stories, and news that shape our community. Join us on this journey through the past, present, and future of Pike County, Indiana. Tune in next week for the next episode of WFPC Podcasting.